Right, so I've arrived back out here. This is where I was the other weekend, and I didn't get a chance to finish up my campfire. I hate having unburnt wood. As you can see, there's some bits in here that didn't burn up. I don't like to leave campfires like that. So my remedy for that today, oh Christ, look at that, frozen into the ground. My remedy today is to have another campfire and use it up. So on that note, I've just split up some more wood. Got a bit of kindling there, brought some wood. Got all my bits and pieces with me. And my chair, of course. Always have a good trusty chair. So I will get this fire going and see if I can use up those bits of wood. AKA a good excuse to come out, sit in the forest, have a cup of tea and basically do bugger all. Right, I'll get this set up and do some more in a bit. Right, so let's get set up here. Where I want it, which is about there. Right, let's get this fire going. Go from there. As always, trusty cotton balls. As I've mentioned in many of my videos, I've never yet found a better way of lighting a fire other than these things. They actually work a damn. Should probably only need one. I've had some small brushy bits. This stuff burns really good, but it burns really, really fast. So make up a couple of piles of those. That should be plenty, I think. Always have here stuff laid out ready to go. And if I can get a spark to land on there, one spark, should be good to go. Very lightly lay those on there. And I say, this is about the best way you're ever going to find to light a fire. Doesn't get much easier than this. Only trouble with this stuff, it's a little smoky till it gets going. It doesn't usually take much to get going. I'll let that just catch in there a little bit. Comes a crow. I can hear him, but I can't see him. Yeah. It's -2 at the moment, but it's supposed to be +16 later. Hey. Welcome to Alberta. Be -20 in the morning, be +20 by the evening. Who knows? Oh, there we go. You don't want to smother too much on there. Just let the heat get through. I just split up some of these pieces off of some of the logs that I got there. Start to pre-warm those through. You notice I didn't really do a base in here because I already had these pieces of burnt wood and I want them to burn up. So. There's not so much snow under here this week. These pieces of split pine, these little splits, they burn really fast. But they burn hot, so that's good. Should be okay for small stuff in there now. This is a little thin bit. Just thin that down a couple. Put that away. As I've said many times in my other videos, make sure you put all your gear away so you know where it is. You don't want to be looking for stuff. I think we should be fairly good there. I will let that catch, let that build up a bit, and I'll get back to you in a moment. Right, fire is underway. Just found some more firewood. This one up, there we go. These size pieces are just nice. These bits you can break pretty easy. As they say in firewood school, that, as they say, should keep you going for a while. Like I say, I didn't build a normal base in there like people like I normally do, because I already had 3 mostly burnt through logs on the bottom. They were actually frozen into the ground. I tried to kick them, but they didn't want to come off, so they can stay there. They'll burn. Yeah. The reason I wanted to use that spot is because I've had numerous campfires over the years on exactly that spot. Anybody who follows my videos will know this spot fairly well. I was going to head up to another place, but the snow is still too deep in there. I thought we'd had some decent sunshine this week, so I was kind of hoping that the snow had melted a bit up in there, but it hasn't. The surface is iced over. We got a really bad avalanche risk at the moment, really bad. So with this warmer weather, we got 2 days of plus 16, and then middle of next week it goes back to minus 16. So we got pretty much a whole week of snow coming. So I thought I'd come out today, because by next week, I mean, this could be this deep in snow for all I know. It changes fast around here. So, yeah, but it's looking like that's going to do pretty good. So in my pack, have, that can go in there. In this one. I remembered my toasty fork this week, so I can actually do hot sausage rolls this week. In here. Oh. Going to put that log on there next, I think. I did split some pieces off of this one, but I'll split it up in a moment. It's starting to crack. I don't know if you heard that crack, but it's starting to go. So I'll do that in a moment. But first, it's a cup of tea time. So, we still have to have spikes this time of the year because the snow's kind of maybe icy, maybe snowy, maybe who knows. So it's always good to have spikes. So cheers people, thanks for coming along. My fire is slowly getting going. I'm somewhat neglecting it. I will chuck a few twigs in there in a moment. Chuck some bits on there in a moment, get that going again. And then I've just put that bigger log on the top. It's flat underneath just to trap some of the heat and use some of that heat just to dry it out a bit. So it is working on it. You'll be surprised. It gets through there pretty good. Oh. Now the object of today's exercise is not to be using my Ohuhu stove to cook food. I do have sausage rolls. As I say, I did remember my toasty fork this week, so I can have hot sausage rolls instead of cold. So that'll be nice. And I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the day. Once the sun breaks over, in the middle of winter the sun comes up over there, but this time of the year, as you can see, she's starting to come up over through this way, which is really good. I'll take that. Yeah. Like I say, it's going to be plus 16 today. Another reason why I came to this site, because I know there's still snow here. But, so in terms of like put the fire out and stuff, this stuff, you chuck a bit of this on the fire, trust me, it's out. Yeah. So never too worried. I wouldn't recommend just this time of the year just going out in the middle of nowhere and just light the fire anywhere. I wouldn't, because you don't know what's under it. Yeah. And these trees are bone dry, absolutely bone dry. Yeah, no moisture in these trees whatsoever, so they would burn really, really fast. We actually started our fire season here in Alberta 2 weeks early this year. It doesn't normally start till March, but we started it middle of February. So it's very, very dry. So you have to be careful. Which is why I take off all the lower branches on these trees, like all the dead stuff on the bottom. I cut those off. This is a log that came down the other year. I've cut some bits off this already. But these branches, these are so dry. These bits, look how dry that is. It just snaps like a carrot. Doesn't land on the fire very well, but look, it snaps like a carrot. Put some bits around there, making very sure I don't kick over my key. That would make for a bad day. Yeah. This time of the year, I always have my little axe with me. This thing I've had for a very long time. It's absolutely insanely good at what it does. These lower branches, you can knock those off the trees really, really fast. I prefer to cut them if I can because it's less injury to the tree. But oh dear, yes, that thing's an amazing little tool. Fits in your backpack really good. Absolutely fantastic tool to have with it. Yeah. Not too much smoke off the fire. Smoke's going that way. West is over here, so the smoke's going that way, so that's good. Yeah. When we get winds from the west, that's why we've got 2 days of warm. We've got a Chinook winds, we've got a warm spell come through. But that's why our temperatures can change so fast. If the wind suddenly changes around to the north, last time I was here, I don't know if you watched those videos, but if you did, thank you. I was sitting here and it literally, I could feel the temperature just dropping. Over 10 minutes it probably dropped 10 degrees, so that's why I bailed out pretty quick last time I was here. That's why I had unburnt logs in the bottom. You don't want to be out here when the wind changes and suddenly a blizzard blows. And that, I have to say, is a very nice cup of tea. So my plan for today is just to sit here, enjoy the campfire. I'd like to sit a little bit closer, but until I've got some decent heat in there, I'm going to stop here because otherwise the smoke will start coming my way. So by moving a bit closer to the fire, the air pressure will drop and it'll start coming my way. Just make a bit of smoke, see what it does. That's not too bad. We've still got a fairly good crosswind. So it's only about -2 at the moment, something like that. So I'll take that. Get some heat in there. Also got some nice coals, so we'll make some sausage rolls. You look, I'm a poet, didn't know it. Right, so we'll get back to you in a moment. Alright, fire's progressing quite nicely. So, without further ado, these little cookie fork things, they're extendable, actually really handy, and they are great for this. I don't know anything about the missing bite of sausage roll off the end. I don't know how that happened. But I will now warm that up. Got some good coals in there now, there's some good heat. So enough to warm your food but not burn it. Actually, I think I will just rotate this one for a bit. This is the best way to make breakfast. That's warming up. Oh yeah, that's warming up nice. Okay, so always remember you've got your foot on it, so don't stand up. Always breakfast falls in the fire, and that's never good. So just leave that sit and warm up a touch. Like I say, today's exercise is not anything wildly amazing bushcraft or anything. Look at the sun on the smoke there, that's quite nice there. Look at the lines through there, the sun lines, that's quite nice. Yeah, this is not any amazing bushcraft learning stuff or whatever. This is just time out in the mountains, away from the rest of the world, sitting here in what I know is going to be glorious sunshine. Look at the colour of the sky, it's just amazing. It's going to be glorious sunshine as soon as it breaks those trees. And I'm going to thoroughly enjoy my day sitting by the campfire. As long as I don't burn my breakfast, I will be good. Yeah. A lot of woodpeckers about, loads of woodpeckers. I heard probably 4 or 5 on the way in, and there's another one over that way. Now I've started cooking food. The jays should turn up soon. They have food radar. I'm sure they can smell it. I don't know. I don't know how they know, but they know. Yeah. Yeah. All the way down through the trees here. There's a very steep drop off here. All the way down through the trees here, down to the riverbed. You can see the sun coming through the trees. It's really nice. Yeah. She's warming up good. I don't want it too hot. There again, I don't want it cold either. Yeah, I don't know anything about the missing bite on the end. Purely accidental. this doesn't make for a good day, I don't know what does really. It's way too chaotic in the world at the moment. Way too chaotic. So it's nice to come out and do things like this. Oh, she's warming up good. Other than the woodpeckers, it's totally silent out here. It's nice, isn't it? Some people don't like silence. I think it's fantastic. There is something to be said about peace and quiet. Peace and quiet gives you peace of mind, and if you don't have peace of mind, then you're in trouble. It's, at the moment, a lot going on in the world, way more than people probably realise. But well, yeah, we're getting there. Gonna warm this through, and I'll chuck some more firewood on there. Oh yeah, we good. Oh, that is so good. Right. Now I've done that. Always remember that this is still hot. Can't see in the snow, but it's hot. Stoked it up a bit. Enjoy my breakfast. That is good. In the middle of winter, when it's like -20, -30, you'll see me do this a lot. Put my feet up on a log, because you don't want your feet on the ground, because the ground's really cold. And that's how you make breakfast Dave style. Right. I need to pay attention to this fire. Get some decent heat in here. This is very good. Oh yeah, that's putting off some good heat. That's a good cooking fire right there. That's some good heat. Sitting around a campfire is one of life's great little pleasures. It's something that's easy to do. Something more people should do actually. This log in the bottom here, this one is from the other week's campfire. It's still frozen in the ground. It is burning. Like it or not, it will be gone by the end of today. I've got plenty of wood. I mean, I could build this fire up to a decent, size, but I don't need a huge fire. If I was doing a huge fire, I would just three that way, let it get on with it. But you end up with a big fire like this, but I don't really want that because it's too much dry here in the trees. Yeah. I tend to keep my campfires smaller, especially if there's a lot of this low hanging Spanish moss and that around. This log that I've dragged out here, this one I started cutting up the other year, it's got a lot of small branches on it. I'm going to clean all those off, so we've just left with the log, and I might cut that up. Yeah. But that is nice. That is super nice. Yeah. I will have another cup of tea, I think. I will not bore you with Dave drinking tea, and then yes, very nice. Oh, that's good. Oh, I've just noticed I left the camera on, so I guess I am boring you with Dave drinking tea. So, Dave drinking tea. As you can see, this snow, this is about a foot of snow here, and it's fairly solid. So. But you have to be careful, because as you walk through, on the way walking in here, it's you're walking on the snow and then boof, you break through it, and you suddenly find yourself literally up to your knees in bloody snow. Oh, that is good tea. Well done to the guy that made the tea. He made a good job of that. That's good brew. Yeah. Always very important. Make sure you got tea. You can learn all the bushcraft skills in the world. You can build a shelter out of 2 matchsticks and a lollipop if you want. But you can learn all that stuff. However, if you don't bring tea, it's just not the same. Oh, that is good. That is a good, slow, hot fire. Yeah. Not too much smoke. Although you're not likely to attract attention out here. This is about 4 kilometres, I guess, from anywhere sensible. Where I was going is about another 5 or 6 kilometres that way. But it's the snow is still a bit. The snow's still a bit yuck out there, so I will take this instead. Very nice. That's putting off just a reasonable amount of heat now. Do a little demonstration here. Now I've just put on a few handfuls of some dry wood, but look how fast that goes up. So if that got into that tree, it'll run up that tree so fast. Yeah. How dry this stuff is, literally. I think it's more heat around the bottom here. Woo. When you get a branch like that, the temptation is to just keep pulling until you break it. one of two things is going to happen. Either the stick will break or your leg will. And given the option of being able to stamp on a branch like that and break it, or risk hurting your knee or your leg, stamp on it. It's way easier. Yeah. You do not want any kind of injury. Always remember that I'm out here on my own. I do have whistles and all that other good crap with me, but it's chances of anybody actually being out here other than me, I doubt there's anybody out here at the moment, the chances of anybody knowing is pretty remote. Yeah, I don't carry any of that Garmin InReach and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any of those. My philosophy is if I come out here and I get injured and something bad happens, well, at least you drop dead doing something that you like. Yeah. You won't know about it because you'll be dead. Yeah. However, it's a good idea before you come out and do stuff like this to know how to survive in things like this. Like, I always have my tarp. I can build a shelter out of it. I could stay here tonight. It's only going to be, I think it's only going down to 5 degrees tonight. I could easily stay here tonight just with the stuff I have with me. I have enough firewood. There's buckets and buckets. I've got so much firewood hidden around here. It's just not funny. Yeah, I could build, if I was staying tonight, I would go and cut a whole bunch of big logs about yay long, decent size. But again, you've got to watch out for these trees. So you need a decent fire to keep you warm. You don't want to start a forest fire. There's too many forest fires started by people being idiots. So you don't want to add to that. Oh yeah, she's burning down in there good now. So good, in fact. I think I will add a chunk of that. One of my good ember logs just fell off the back here. But you have to be careful because as this melts, see all this is turned into ice and water. There's little puddles here. So you have to be careful. What I'm trying to do is break this one loose in the ground, get the fire underneath it. That one's actually frozen into the ground. This one here is actually frozen into the ground. I can't even move that. Oh, no, there she goes. There she goes. That's good. That's good. What I've done is let some air under that log. Make a big difference. Now, once you get some air underneath it, if you're building a long log fire, imagine this is the back log. Let's just show you this. If you were building a long log fire, imagine these are round logs. You're going to do this. You're going to have some logs through here. See, right, and get your fire going. You could even do it this way. Just have your logs suspended. I'm not so keen. I see people doing the 2 log fire like this and banging sticks in the ground and all the rest of that kind of crap. Personally, let's let the laws of physics build the fire, not hope your green sticks don't burn through and your top log rolls off and all that. So like that, like that, like that. The back log, if you can make sure that there's no air coming underneath that back log, that rear log will take a very long time to burn. So if you're cutting down a tree, you've got a good dead standing and you've got the biggest bit, like yay round. If you're building a long log for overnight, you want logs this round, literally as round as you can get them. This round is good. Yeah, so you want them yay big, this round. The back log, the one that's the fire's this way, you're this way, fire's there, bury that in the ground a bit. Make sure there's no air coming underneath the log. You will be surprised the difference that makes. Absolutely huge. Yeah. To build your fire, put your little branches across here just to act as a separator. Let the air in here. If I'm building a fire with this stuff and I've got some long split logs, I'll put them together in a V. Actually, I think I did that last week when I did this, or the other week, whenever it was. I did it as a V. I build my fire in here. I put my pieces across here, and then I lay a top log across like that with the split exposed sides, not the round side, with the split exposed sides facing the fire like that. And you'll be surprised, it'll get into that wood. I mean, that's pretty dry pine now, it'll get right in there, so it makes a big difference. This one I started splitting chunks off it, as you can see, and unfortunately there's two rather large knots that run right through the middle of it, so it doesn't split very well, but now it's got all these cracks in it. When it does go on the fire, how dry that is, yeah. When it does go on the fire, all these exposed edges will get the fire into there. It'll get the heat in here real fast. So, although it won't split because of these really annoying knots through the middle. If you had a big axe, you could probably split that, but I don't carry a big axe like that. So it makes a big difference. Put some splits in it, put some cracks in it, gets the flame in there. It burns good. Yeah. In fact, this one's going to go, once I let this settle down, this one's going to be the log that goes through the middle. What I'll do is I'll lay that through the middle and then use that to build the fire up against all these ends. I'll lay one good log through the middle, and then I'll turn the ends round to make like a little pile, if you like a little triangle. Yeah. Makes a difference. Hear the sizzling when the hot pieces fall into the water. This is all getting wet around here now. Okay, now I've got some air underneath this one. That should be good. Yeah. See the water under there? I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually water under here. Yeah. It's the only thing, building campfires in the snow. If I was building a decent fire. But one of the other things that you can do, and only do this if you've got good dry rock, right? If you're building a fire in the snow and it's like this, and you can get down to a reasonable depth, if you don't have a lot of firewood, what you can do is build a rock ring. So not a circle to build a fire inside, but a rock ring to build a fire on. So what you do is you take your fire or your rocks and you start laying them around in a circle, and you want your circles to be about yay round, so the air will automatically come through the rocks because of the gaps, but now the firewood that you've got is up off the ground, so the rocks will heat up and the snow will melt and you'll end up with water underneath the fire. That's fine because the water's now not in your fire's on top of those rocks. But make sure you use dry rocks, because you don't want to be heating wet rocks. You want those as dry as you can get. Heating wet rocks sometimes can be a bit spectacular. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's something that you learn the hard way. Yeah. But I think we got some good heat in there now. That ain't going nowhere. That's actually sitting here now. There's actually some good heat coming off there. That is actually really nice. Yeah. Somebody needs to invent a camera that you can feel things through, or smelly vision, whatever you want to call it. Because walking through the forest on a hot day, there's just that fantastic forest smell. Hot forest, I call it. It's just an amazing smell. Hear the wood gas? Wood gas is what burns. Wood doesn't burn. It gasifies, then the gas burns. Yep. Something in there was putting off some gas. Oh, still going. That's good. Right, I'll do some more in a bit. Right, what I've done is I've let this fire die right down to just basically, it's hot, but it's just smouldering. It's not a super raging fire or anything like that. Now, I just had my other sausage roll. Now, earlier on, I was just sitting there enjoying the fire. I heard a very distinctive grumble, low rumble down the bottom of the valley there. There's a valley off to my left, and so I grabbed my bear spray just in case it was that kind of sound. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a bear up and about, because as I've said before, people think bears are inactive in the winter. They're not. They're less active, they're not inactive. And down over that way somewhere there was a very distinctive low growly rumble, so I grabbed my bear spray just in case, but it was down there. So the problem is, if a bear came up here to look, the bear would only be about 60-70 feet away by the time it realized I was here, and that's actually pretty close. You don't want to be too close, and you can actually spook a bear. So when I heard the noise, I made lots of people noises, you know, and I never heard it again. So, but there is a corridor that they use down through the forest. It comes up over that mountain over there, comes down through the bottom here, and up over and up that side. Quite often in the summer, I'll go out that way and up over the top of that hill, because it's just shorter to go that way. This time of the year, it's pretty icy down in the bottom there. It can be really icy down in the bottom there. So I didn't go that way. It's a bit of a wetland down in here. It's like a marshy bog. But they do come down through this valley and up over the top. So it could well have been. But it certainly sounded like a bear. It had that really low kind of grumbly sound to it. But I just made lots of people noises, spoke a bit. Just, you don't have to shout. You just need to let them know you're there. Trust me, they can hear you. Yeah. But they can also smell the smoke from the fire. So yeah. If it was a bear, it's long gone. It's down through there somewhere. But always remember, they are not inactive in winter. They're just less active. So yeah, don't make that mistake. And they're also a bit groggy. They're kind of like, you know, that Monday morning sleepy feeling when you've had a good weekend and you go to work and you're all like, yeah, that's what a bear's like this time of the year. So, fall, you've always got to be careful, because they're trying to load up with food before winter, and you don't want to be a snack for a bear. And in the spring, they're waking up and they're hungry, so they're out and about looking. But the good thing is, through here, there is so many deer and stuff through here. It's just insane. Yeah. There is a wolf pack that hunts through here, and they have a huge range. They go way south down here and right off. I've seen them way off to the west here, and down through that way, probably 4 or 5 kilometers. I've seen wolf track down through there as well. So wolves actually have a huge range. I came out here one summer and all the cows were going absolutely mental, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with the cows. And then I heard the wolf. So I thought, oh, okay, there's a wolf close. So he was, they do that howling that they do, and I think they were calling their buddies in. But as soon as he heard the human voice, I shouted a bit. As soon as I heard the human voice, poof, wolf went quiet, gone, done, finished. Don't know where he went. Don't want to know where he went. I did find some wolf crap on the trail over that way, but yeah, as soon as they know there's people around, they're gone. Most wildlife doesn't like interacting with people. Yeah. They're smart like that. I had to move the camera around, because as you can see, the sun has come right round now. So yeah, which is actually very nice. That's why I've let the fire die right down. I don't need a warm fire now. I'm just letting it die right down. I just want to burn off all this wood. Just keep pulling the sides in, burn it off, and then because that sun actually has quite a bit of warmth. I can actually hear the trees creaking. There's an old dead standing there that's leaning up against another tree, and I can actually hear it creaking as it was expanding in the heat there. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. The sounds of the forest. That's why I come here. Yeah. And ironically, I just finished my second sausage roll, and about 10 minutes after that, the jays turned up. So they were out of luck. Yeah. I do still have. Can you find it? There we go. Yeah. I do still have some trail mix with me, so that's always good. It's always good to carry this stuff, because it's nuts and raisins and little bits of chocolate. And I can tell you now, they're good. And the good thing with this stuff, it's got a little bit of salt in it as well, There's cashews in there, peanuts, and the best bit, of course, Smarties. Oh, a little bit of chocolate's good. That is good stuff. Yeah, if I was camping, I wouldn't have this in my pack, but since I'm not, when you're camping, put all your food in the bag. I have a 150 foot of paracord in there. If you're camping, put your food in a bag, find 2 trees close together, tie up a tree out the way, because a bear can smell that. I should have, by my reckoning, about, oh yeah, 1 more cup of tea in there. Look at that, perfect, look, absolutely perfect. That's what I call good planning right there. So, I will enjoy my smouldering smoky fire. My last almost still warm cup of tea. That flask does keep it warm for a while. I think it used to say something like 9 hours to keep it warm or something like that. I made that this morning, probably 5:30, 6 o'clock, I guess. Yeah. I set off to the mountains early this morning, literally 6ish, I guess, on a Sunday morning, and the road was packed coming out this way, absolutely packed. Everybody heading off up the mountains to go skiing. It's going to be a really good ski day. Just don't head into the back country because the avalanche warning for this weekend is extreme. Yeah. Woodpecker's back. Yes, very high avalanche warning because the snow, it sets up a thermal layer, like a shear layer between the snow, and it can literally just, the whole side of the mountain could just literally slide right off, and they do. Yeah. Sadly, people die every year because of avalanches. Always make sure you've got all your gear, make sure you know how to use it. There's plenty of places you have to have your beacons and all the rest of it, but the best defense against avalanches is just don't go to avalanche country. Yeah, there are plenty of warnings. If you go onto the park sites and what have you, there's avalanche warning sites. They will tell you where the risks are high, so basic way to avoid it is just don't go there. Simple as that. You can't get killed in an avalanche if you don't go there. And that now is much lighter. As the great Mors Kahansky would say, the more tea you drink, the less you have to carry. I think that's what he said. Well, that could just be my version of what he said. Yes. What he actually said was, the more that you know, the less you carry. And he used to have this 2-litre pot, which was about yay big and a little bit rounder like this. And he could get everything he needed to survive in that pot. And hats off to him. The great man himself. I have no idea how he did that, because that's actually pretty, that actually takes a lot of skill. You don't realise how much skill that takes until you actually try to do it yourself. But it's literally, his container was a little bit rounder than this, a little bit taller, but he had everything in there that you needed to survive. Absolutely everything. Amazing man. Great skills, great knowledge. Yeah. Fortunately, he wrote books and what have you. Passed a lot of that knowledge on. Sadly, people don't pass on knowledge. Well, I did relent the other day. In my pack, I've had this brand new blade in there for... When I first got this, people kept saying, oh, you watch all the videos, and, oh yeah, people keep breaking the blades are shit, the blades are shit. It's not. The blades are amazing. It's how people were using them that wasn't very good. And that was the problem. So, I broke one blade, as I've explained in one video before. I was very, very tired, and you're only supposed to cut on the pull stroke for these saws. And I was very tired, and I leant forward and I heard it go tink, and it actually snapped through here. and that was entirely my fault. I was pushing, I leant forward, bent it in the cut of the wood, and she snapped. So I bought a brand new blade, and I've been carrying that brand new blade around with me for about 7 or 8 years now. I've been using the other one. I still have the old blade. So I was cutting some wood the other week, and I thought, I got a brand new blade, why don't I put the new blade on here and keep the old blade as my spare? Because chances of me breaking one, now I know how to use these things properly. I've been using this for probably 8-10 years now, and I can tell you now, anybody that doesn't have one of these that does this kind of outdoor stuff, this is absolutely amazing. It's the Big Boy 2000. Absolutely insane saw. I have cut, couldn't tell you how many trees with this damn thing. Couldn't tell you how many. Yeah, but I tell you what, they are really good. So if you don't have one and you're thinking of buying a wood saw, you can get smaller versions of this. You can get the little Gone Boy and all that kind of stuff, and there's loads of different ones, but to my way of thinking, I would rather have that one. That just lives in here. See, this is, I always have my nippers in here. See, this is the old blade. This is the one I took off, and that blade is about 7-8 years old, maybe longer. Yeah, I always have my nippers. Walking through trails, I see people walking through trails making videos and stuff, and you see them brushing through heavy brush, and they're all complaining about how bad the trails are and all this kind of stuff. Well, when you see that alder crap growing across the trail, all you got to do is every now and again just cut a few bits off. The pieces that cross the trail, cut them off, so that way the next person that's coming along can clearly see the trail. It keeps the trails in much better shape, and it takes that much effort. Literally done. So these always live in there too. They live in the top there, and at the time they didn't make a pouch for the 2000, so I actually made this one. It's just got Velcro on here, Velcro on there. This goes on there like that. I just put some nylon, some 2-inch nylon on the back here, just for a belt loop, and that all fits on there just perfect. And everything fits on my belt. That weighs, I think with all the crap I got in there, I think that weighs about 15-20 pounds, something like that. But everything I need to survive is in that belt. I have everything I need to survive in there as well, so I have duplicates. In here I have poncho. I got poncho in here for if I need to throw up a bivvy. If I didn't have my tarp, I can make a bivvy out of this. I have cordage, firelight and stuff, all kinds of stuff in here. Velcro. This double-sided Velcro is amazing stuff. This is worth having too, because it's got the fuzzies. It's got the fuzzies on one side and the pieces on the other side. So if you need to attach something, yeah, like here, I can just wrap that around there. Job done. It's actually really good if you see people strapping things to trees and stuff. This is actually really insanely strong stuff, and I bought a bloody great roll of it. I got so much of it left at home, it's not funny. I bought a bloody great roll of it like that. I will probably never use it in my entire lifetime. Yeah, but I have it, and I can tell you now, it is really handy. Everything fits in there. Bear spray, water, fire lighting kits, spare light and fire lighting kit, saws, my knife of course. This is actually a surprisingly good little knife for split up wood and stuff. I keep this one fairly sharp, but it's got a good striker on the back here for sparks. But it's a very, very strong knife actually. I beat the living crap out of this thing. Absolutely beat the crap out of it, and it's still going good. I've had that many years. But if I'm cutting wood and I've got my Fiskars with me, a little hatchet, I prefer to use that. Make sure my bear spray is handy, just in case, because like I said, I did hear that noise earlier. That was about an hour ago, so whatever was down there, sure as hell isn't now. So I'll just stoke all that up underneath there. As you can see, this is all burning through. By the time I finish, this will be nothing but ash. Yeah, the temptation is just to keep putting more wood on it, just to get rid of the smoke. But the easiest way Oh yeah, pretty good. Let's just plug that in there. Yeah, she's good. Right. While I'm letting that fire just smoulder down, I'm going to run through some of the stuff that I actually keep in my pack. And these are things that you should probably have with you at all time. I have the tarp that I'm sitting on, which is a 10 by 12. Like I say, I have 150 foot of paracord in here. This I can make a shelter out of. I can hang food up in a tree if I need to. If I go even bear country and what have you, I can hang food up in a tree. 150 foot of paracord. It's peanuts to buy. Yeah. If you get stuck out in the middle of nowhere and you need to gain attention, say you're up on top of a hill or you're out somewhere that's got a bit of an exposed site, I have in here at all times, this is Canadian flag. So I have a habit of putting these things on top of mountains, by the way. So I always have one in my pack. That serves a double purpose. I could use it as a signalling device if I was up one of these trees here. If I was to string a piece between the trees, throw a branch over, I could pull this up into a tree and that would attract attention. If somebody's walking through a forest and they see a Canadian flag hanging out of a tree, they're going to think, hey, what the hell? So it's and this is a 3 foot by 5 foot, so it's fairly big. The other thing that you can use this for is if you needed to throw up a quick shelter just to keep the rain off. These are actually waterproof, so you can just put it up. Yeah, put a bit of, take a piece of cord, string it up, sling this over the top. Hey presto, it's not raining on you. You know, it's not the largest of shelters in the world. It's only 3 by 5. However, it has a double purpose. Everything has a double purpose. My hatchet, of course, which I've just put away. One of the most important things that people forget is a first aid kit. I don't know if you remember last year, I was chopping some stuff and I cut the top of my thumb off. There was a big flapper skin on the top of my thumb and it was bleeding like crazy. Thumbs bleed a lot, by the way. So I had literally put my finger over the top of it like that to hold everything together so that I could get the hell out of there and get back to my first aid kit. When I opened my pack, where was my first aid kit? 2 of them were in my car. I forgot to put one in there. In here is all the stuff. I got polysporin, I got bandages, all kinds of stuff. Always make sure you've got a first aid kit with you. Anybody that says, hey, you know, I need to travel light and all the rest of it, I mean, that weighs nothing. If you're worried about the weight of a first aid kit in your pack, you shouldn't be out in the mountains. Very, very simple. Don't bother going. Always make sure you've got your first aid kit. Always, always, always. Yeah. Now, something that a lot of people might not think of, especially as you get older, when you're heading downhill, anybody will tell you, going uphill is easy. Going downhill can really hurt your knees. So I have in here a knee brace. It's an elasticated one. They pull in tight. And if you get stuck somewhere or you're going down a hill and it's really steep and your knee really starts to hurt, you do not want to blow your knee out halfway down a mountain on a scree slope. So, knee pad, knee brace. I've got the other one. Yeah, just put it on there. Job done. Yeah, something very simple that people don't think to carry with them. So I have even more of that Velcro, double-sided Velcro in there. I have some Ziploc bags, both large and small, because you never know when you need to put stuff in a Ziploc bag. Anybody who's ex-military will know. Yeah, but, Ziploc bags come in very, very handy. And on the same subject, if I can find roll of loo paper, trust me, essential supplies. We also have in here some additional food. I have snacky bars. I've got several of those. There's about 3 or 4 of these in here. There's a whole bunch of these in here. Always make sure you've got some kind of food with you. Yeah, they live in there. Something that is really, really handy is this stuff. It's dirt cheap. I think it's $3 a roll, whatever this stuff is. It is insanely strong, and you can use this for all kinds of things. You know, you could build traps out of this. You could do all kinds. You know, if you're building bird traps, you can make bird traps out of this stuff. You can use it for tying stuff up, and it's absolutely fantastic. Always handy to have. Takes up no space. Like I say, all these people, you see these ultralight campers and all this kind of stuff. That's all very well. However, having things like that with you, that could save your life, because it really stands out. You see it in the middle of nowhere. If I'm wandering along in the forest and I see a Canadian flag hanging out of somewhere, you know, somebody could be injured, they could be on the ground, they have a whistle or whatever, but there's nobody within earshot. You tied it up, especially if search and rescue are looking for you, because search and rescue, one of the things, I used to do that in England, search and rescue, and one of the things you look for is what doesn't belong. What doesn't belong where you're looking. So if you're going along and you suddenly start finding, you find footprints everywhere in an area that there's no other people, you say, okay, the person we're looking for could be around here, or they could have been here. So if you're ever lost in the mountains or whatever, don't keep moving around. People do, they just get out, oh, I'm going to wander out, see if I can find my way out. Don't. If you're lost, you're stuck, you're really in trouble, stay where you are. Put up anything bright like this. I also have green tarps and blue tarps. If you peg out a 10 by 12 green tarp on the ground, trust me, a plane is going to spot that. They're going to spot a Canadian flag hanging out of a tree somewhere that it doesn't belong. And if you're up on the rock somewhere, put some rocks in each corner, just something that stands out. Look for what doesn't belong. This stuff, you're never going to see it because it's camouflage. However, always make sure you've got all that stuff with you. The tarp that I'm sitting on lives in the back of here. I have all kinds of bits of plastic and stuff in here just to sit on and all that kind of stuff. In the top here, I have marker tape. Again, you can use this as a signalling device. I've got a full pile of spare batteries in my camera. Yeah. I have extra fire lighting kit. Always have extra fire lighting kits. I don't know how many firing kits. I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 different fire lighting kits with me. 7 different ways. All in different stuff. I've got some in my coat, some in my belt, some in my pack. So should I become separated from my pack, I still have the ability to make fire. And that's one of the most crucial things you can do. Because I can tell you now, if I grabbed a bunch of this bloody moss crap that's hanging on the trees, there's Spanish moss or whatever they call that stuff, you start throwing that on the fire in large quantities, trust me, it makes a lot of smoke. And if people are looking for you, or even if they're not, and they see, around here we have the fire watchers on top of the mountains, if they suddenly see a lot of smoke coming out of one area, they're going to come and investigate. They're going to send somebody out. If there's a plane in the area, they contact the planes and just get the planes to fly over your route. There's a lot of small aircraft and that around here, so that they'll get somebody to come out and have a look. If they don't have anybody and they still see lots and lots of smoke, they will actually send out a helicopter to come and have a look. And if you're in trouble and a helicopter turns up, what do? You know, do you need help? You need to signal to a helicopter. So one of the things that people don't realize, if you stand up and you put your arms up like this, make yourself look like a big Y, don't sit there doing this at a helicopter, because they don't know what that means. That just means, hey, there's somebody waving at me on the ground. If you stand like this, facing the helicopter so that they can see you are looking at them, and you stand like this, that means yes, that's a Y, I need help. I need help. Now, if you don't need help, you can just do this. Right? Just do this. Yeah, that's an N. That means no, I do not need help. So yes, I need help. No, I don't need help. Very, very simple. Don't sit there doing this. Everybody does this. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. They will see you, but they don't know if you need help or not. So you need to tell them that you need help. And that's how you do it. You just make yourself like a big Y like this. I need help. Yes. Yeah. So always learn those things. Very, very simple things to learn. Simple things to remember. If you've got a whistle with you, which I always have, I have multiple whistles. Again, I have one in my coat. I have one here. I have another one in my belt. So again, 3 whistles. Do I need 3 with me? Nope. But if I lose my pack, I don't have my whistle now. So I don't know where to contact it. If I sit here and blow, it's 3 blasts. Yeah. If I sit here and blow 3 blasts, then anybody within a very considerable distance, you can hear a whistle a very long way away. You can hear human voice a very long way away as well. But a whistle travels, you can shout, hey, hey, help, whatever. But a whistle travels much further, way further. So that if you're out and you hear 3 blasts, that means somebody's in trouble. And then you can have 2 blasts, come to me, 1 blast, I need help, I'm over this way, come this way. but it 3 blasts, and it's not. Don't do the SOS thing. I mean, some people think you've got to send SOS. SOS, people think it means save our souls. It does not. It is just a good tune. There is no gap between the S and the O. It's did da 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 did it. SOS would be did da 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 did it. There's a difference. Yeah. So it's SOS is just did da 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 did it. Very simple. It's one of those things that people think it means save our souls. It doesn't. It's just a good tune. Better than the old CQD. Yeah. Yeah. Da 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 did it. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's better than that. Shown to people on the Titanic didn't know that at the time. However, yeah, we know how that worked out. But radio was still a very modern luxury at that time. They were more concerned with sending messages. Hey, look what we're doing. And unfortunately, the message of we're in trouble, 1,505 people died. Yeah. I won't get into that. That's that was a bit of stupid piece of history that could have easily been avoided. Yeah. However, yeah, as you can see, my fire is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I am burning through these logs. That piece, this piece under here, this is what's left of that log from the other week. That's pretty much ash now. If I was to stand on that, it would pretty much disintegrate, which is exactly how I like to leave the fire. This will be nothing, by the time I leave, this will be nothing but a pile of ash. Done, finished, pile of ash. And then I can soak it all down, walk up and down on it, crush it into basically carbon. The carbon is actually, and the wood ash is actually really good for the forest floor. So I will do that. And I will get back to you when that's done. So here I am, a little bit later in the day. I can tell you now, it is actually warmed right up. So I set off this morning with 3 layers on. I've just taken another layer off. My coat is in my pack. My other layer is off. I'm just down to one t-shirt now. It's supposed to be 16 degrees today. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I'll take that. I'm actually standing in the shade because I'm hot. As you can see, I've let the fire die down to basically nothing. I'm still keeping an eye on it. I'm just moving all the bits in so I can just burn off all the chunks. As you can see, there's not a lot left. It's surrounded by a puddle of water as well, so there ain't nothing spreading in there. Now all the firewood that I haven't burnt, I have stashed all over. But if you're going to put firewood away, always do this with it. Like, see this log here that I haven't used? Stand it up against a tree. These ones in here I've put here before. This is all wood that I've got stacked up. And the reason you don't lay it on the ground, obviously, is if you come out and there's 2 foot of snow, you can't find it. But if you do it like this, say there was 2 foot of snow, you know, the snow will be up to here, but it's the top piece of it's still sticking out, and it's dry. You know, this is bone dry. This wood is like really dry. That's been down for a couple of years now. But there's pieces over here. This piece here, it's absolutely full of resin. There's another piece underneath there. See that? It's all full of resin. These are the pieces that are at the bottom of the trees. When you get a tree that snaps off, these are the pieces that are worth keeping. That one there is nice, dry, dead standing. There's probably, what, 10 foot of log there, easily 10 foot. Yeah, that makes a big difference. Stack it up against the tree like that, keeps it nice and dry. If it's laying on the ground, it'll rot pretty quick. If you look at this log that's laying on the ground here, I mean, this is just rot. Yeah, so it's good for starting a fire, but not much else. It isn't going to burn for very long. So stack your wood up against a tree like that. Longer the better. A lot of the places I go, you've probably seen in my other videos, I've got 20-30 foot lengths of wood like that, just stacked up in the tree. But around here we have a tree called lodgepole pine. Do you ever find any of that stuff laying on the ground? Because it'll only be about this round. It looks like it's not very good wood, but I can tell you now, it takes a very long time for it to grow into a tree that round. And if you look at the rings, it's almost impossible to count them. They're so close together. So that stuff burns for a long time, and you get great big lengths of it, 50-60 feet tall, and you can just stack it up against the tree like that. Job done. Yeah. But as you can see, my little my campsite is slowly dwindling out. My fire is going. I don't need the fire now because it's actually so warm. I'm having to stand in the shade. It's 16 degrees now. I'm going to have to actually stand in the shade. Isn't that a nice thing to have to do in March? I can tell you, around here it can change very fast. Tomorrow we have another day like this, and the day after it's going to be about -15. So we have pretty much a whole week of snow coming. So I suspect everything you see here with no snow on it will have 2 foot of snow on it by the end of next week. So I ain't coming out here next week. Yeah. There's the snow in here between the trees. It's pretty deep. As I was wading my way through some of this snow, it's this snow is like anywhere between 1 foot to 2 foot. Yeah, so down in the forest, if you go down this slope, this is a pretty big steep. That's actually a lot steeper than it looks. As you can see, there's not much snow down in there. If you get to the clear of it, the other side, there's a lot of snow in there. And the reason being is obviously the same amount of snow falls, it just lands in the tree and then it evaporates out the trees and it just disappears. So yeah, not a bad spot. I have camped here many times. I usually put my tent about there. Used to go over there, but I had a problem with that. So I now put my tent about there. It's not a bad spot. It's a reasonable walk. It's, like I say, it's about 4k, so it's a reasonable walk. 5 depending on which way you go. Or if I go right that way, it's about 6 plus the 4. So I was planning to go a lot further over today, but the snow is still fairly deep, steeper than I thought it would be. So there is my campfire, just basically turning into ash now, as you can see. It's pretty much done. There's not a lot left of it. There's my hand for reference. Yeah, it's not a lot left of it. So I'm just going to let that smoulder down to basically wood ash. Enjoy my day sitting in the sunshine, and thank you for coming along. Much appreciated. And that is how all campfires should be left, even in snowy climates. I let that burn down to literally it was nothing but ash. Stomped all over it, poured water all over it, stomped on it again, filled it with snow, stirred it all up probably 2 or 3 times, finally covered it in snow, and that is absolutely stone cold in there. And the whole ground, as you can see, is really soaked around it now. So that's good. And this week we've got freezing cold weather coming, so that sure as hell ain't going to do nothing. So that's how you always leave a campfire. Again, thank you for coming along. Even in snowy climates, make sure your campfire is out. Right, catch you on the next one.